Okay, something a little bit different. Coming out the sun here. Motorcycles. This really isn't something I've talked about on the channel at all. But I do have a few motorcycles. I've had them for, well, depending on the model here, I've had them for years. And it's always something I've been into, going back to coming out of college. It's kind of one of my first new purchases. I did buy a, what did I buy? A Chevy Cavalier, brand new. And then similar time I bought this, which is a 2005 Yamaha R6. And next to it is a 2003 R1, both Yamahas. Both the black Raven, or at least this is called the Raven edition. This one I think was like special or something like that. But anyway, quick little breakdown on these things. Like I said, this one is an 05 R6. Kind of a cool model year because it's kind of last of a generation in many ways. 2006 they came out with a more edgier version, a little more high strung RPMs, things like that. This one was a little more, really for 600, more streetable. It had a little extra horsepower. It had inverted front forks. Can't remember a lot of the other specifics, but yeah, so 600cc inline four, stock-ish. It's got about 10,000 miles on it, believe it or not, with how much, or I guess I say how, what, 18 years. So that's pretty, not a lot of use, but I'm trying to think specifics on this one. It does have, I think I got there's under the tank, I think I got like a K&N intake or a K&N filter. And I got an Aquapovic exhaust, makes it sound cool, but otherwise stock-ish. Like I said, sport bikes, I don't have to do that much to them. Gone through a couple sets of tires over the years. Fortunately, it's never been down. It's a little dirty. I got some tree sap on here, and just in general, it's kind of dirty. A couple scratches just from moving, but never anything major. But yeah, this is kind of the baby. I really enjoy riding this one. I will say though, when I bought it, I was kind of debating with the R1 and the R6, but didn't have a lot of motorcycle experience. Ridden snowmobiles forever, but obviously motorcycle a little different. So I went with the 600, and that was back in Pennsylvania, and perfect bike, really. Out here in Colorado, with the elevation, sometimes you come around a corner or something, you're in the wrong gear, it kind of lugs a bit, so you got to be a little more really on it when you're riding this thing, especially if you're a little more aggressive. But still, tons of power, lots of fun. And next to it is the R1. This one I bought used. I actually had an old 450 dirt bike, and I think I straight up traded it, or maybe, oh, it's so dirty here. I can't remember if I straight up traded it, but maybe a little bit of money involved. But 2003 R1. Oh, I think I should technically mention, this is the, I think I already said, but this is the Raven, Midnight Raven, something like that edition, all black with a little red on the wheels. This one, I think it was like the special edition or something. Obviously Yamaha's known for their blue bikes, so the black bikes were always kind of specialty. But this with the flames, these little pieces here, the levers and the little bar end things here, that was all aftermarket somebody had put on. Technically this different little sport deck windshield was replaced. So it's got a few pieces, and much like the R6, it's has an exhaust, Yoshimura on this one. I think it's got a filter as well. So yeah, nothing too crazy. This one had been down, very minor, but they scuffed up the transmission, what do you call that, or engine or transmission kind of cover plate thing down there. But overall, still pretty good. This one's got more miles. That thing's like 10,000. This one's like 18,000. And you can kind of tell, a little harder. This bike's a little tighter. Still feels very newish, considering it's 2005. This one definitely feels a little more used, but still no issues. You can go anywhere you want, ride as long as you want on these, as long as you can take a sport bike style riding position. Yeah, just kind of a little something different here, showing off the bikes. I ride for fun. I would like to get another bike. I should clarify with these. This bike is what it is. I'll probably keep it as long as I can, keep it forever. And it's perfect as is. This one, just because, I mean, having two of the same, like I said, this came in on trade. So having a 600 and a 1000, I mean, if many ways, maybe if I had a cleaner 1000 would be better. But almost what I'd like to do with this one is make kind of a naked style bike. Take off the front fairing, put bars a little more upright. I don't know, it's always something I thought about. Not sure if I'd mess with the peg position, but that's the one thing I thought I might do. Otherwise, really, I don't really have any projects with the motorcycles. I would ultimately like to maybe buy either like a sport standard style, or maybe, I don't know, if I converted this R1 to a naked, maybe that almost take that role, maybe a cruiser. But I don't know, I don't particularly like the big ones, maybe a smaller cruiser, but who knows, that's something else. But that's the main bikes. Well, I said those are the main bikes because I technically have a couple more. These guys over here. Scooter, maybe not technically a motorcycle, but it's got two wheels and it's powered by a gas engine, so whatever. And dirt bike. This is a 2000, I don't even remember, 6, 7-ish, just a 250 4-stroke, mostly stock. I think it's got somewhat of a modified can, and that's about it. It needs tires, and it's not really clean. I don't think I mentioned those bikes, and particularly R1, aren't really clean at the moment, so I don't know if it shows up on the video or not. But I had a 450 years ago, got this one through a friend. It's just fun to goof around in. A buddy of mine's got a side-by-side, and I like to play around with in the dirt sometimes. Don't go crazy, but yeah, I think this is one of the last years for the actual steel frame until we went to all aluminum. But yeah, nothing too special, but 2006-ish, 7-ish, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly the exact year, but 250 4-stroke. And over here, we got the Yamaha Zuma. This thing's a 2008 Yamaha Zuma scooter, 50cc 2-stroke. I believe they made these for a long time. Thanks, Bird. They made these for a long time, and they stopped making them for a couple years, kind of for emissions. They came back in 08. They made them for a bunch of years, but I don't think they make them anymore because of the whole 2-stroke thing, but that's the exact reason why I wanted one. This was one of the early ones that came out in 08. Or actually would have been 07, but 08 model, because 2-stroke is so much more powerful than a 50cc 4-stroke. I remember renting scooters many years ago when I first moved to Colorado, and had a, I think this was my dad, we had a, I don't know what brands, but there was a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke, and they were both 50s, and we were cruising around somewhere, and it was like night and day. So it was like, okay, yeah, if you're gonna get one of these things, get the 2-stroke. I mean, I knew 2-stroke's faster, but obviously 4-stroke, sometimes you get the torque, but it was night and day. So as a side note, that's why 450 4-strokes and the 250 2-strokes used to compete. But anyway, so this one, like I said, is a 50cc 2-stroke. It'll probably, a bunch of birds up there making a bunch of noise. That's nice. But anyway, it'll do 40 miles an hour, down a hill more, up a hill less. I have tinkered with it a little bit, so it is not bone stock. The big thing was, I think it's got a, it's on the other side there, but it's still carbureted, but there's a little air filter. I modified the air filter into the stock carb, stock engine, but I put this tuned pipe on here, and then I played around with the clutching a little bit because it has a CVT style clutch kind of match, and that really helped. Picked up a couple horsepower. Well, I don't even know whether these things make 5 horsepower. Maybe it didn't even pick up that much, but it picked up a little bit of speed, but more so like going up and down hills and throttle response. So it was definitely worth it. And you can put 70cc kits in these. But anyway, I haven't really ridden it much because a lot of use was like on for a pit bike down at Bandamere. Sometimes I take it out and goof around a little bit on a dirt road. I mean, these tires obviously can't do anything serious, but you can take it on a dirt road for sure. But anyway, so something a little different. The other bikes, 250 4-stroke. Technically, what is this? The YZ250F, I think they call it. And then the Yamaha Zuma. All Yamahas. Got the blue bikes over here and the black bikes over here. And I actually have one more bike that is not out because it's down kind of in storage. It's a 1980, I think, XS400 Yamaha. Kind of a standard bike. It was just a project I got for almost nothing, and I've never really messed with it too much, but maybe someday. But yeah, so this is the Fleet. Currently, the only one that really runs is the 600. There's nothing really wrong with the R1. I just need to charge up a battery. Actually bought a new battery, so I need to fill it up and then charge that. So these bikes are fine. And there's nothing really wrong with these. They just haven't been ridden in a while, and these are both carbureted in with our horrible gas. Both of these need the carbs cleaned. This would probably fire up. This one I tried running a little while ago and wouldn't. So these just need a little bit cleaning. They'll run good. And that's good to go, and that just needs the battery. So okay, last thing with the motorcycles, I'll probably fire up the old R6, considering it's the only thing that actually runs at the moment. So 9,800, 10,000-ish miles, somewhere around there. I already fired up a little while ago, so it's not super cold, although it still says low. Yeah, 9812, and this thing revs to like 16,000, or at least that's what it says. I think the one they came out with just after that revved to like 17.5 or something, but it turned out it wasn't quite that. I don't know, there's a whole controversy back in the day, but yeah, it sounds good. The exhaust pipe doesn't do much for performance, but it certainly sounds cool. Give it a little, it's still cold, but give it a little gentle rev here. Not gonna rev it up like crazy because obviously it can go very high, but yeah, that's the fleet of motorcycles. And like I said, not much of a project going on here with these things. This one is just kind of ride it wherever. This thing, maybe a 70cc kit would be cool, but otherwise I don't use it much, but still cool for the track. The lights on this is funny. A lot of motorcycles are like it nowadays, but low beam and both are high beam. But anyway, nothing with the R6, just keep it around and ride it. And then the R1, I don't know, I mean, maybe I'd sell it someday or turn it into a naked bike, or who knows. And then really, yeah, the only other thing would be, like I said, a cruiser someday, just for the comfort size, because riding sport bikes all day is, you know, it's not the best. So, but anyway, yeah, I think that's it for now with the motorcycles. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.